are you so good to me? Oh, hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about a topic that hardly gets any attention in American politics. Abortion. You see what I did there? I was being sarcastic because obviously the topic of abortion comes up quite a bit in American politics. Hell, it's practically Fox News' entire platform, along with transgender crap. Hell, it's Riley Gaines' bread and butter. Without it, she'd still have to swim. But I digress. I've gone back and forth on the topic of abortion over the years, cause it's a topic that, no matter what side you take, the other side will bully you until you concede to them. So, while my official stance is no comment, today we're going to dive in a little bit anyway. My main concern is how abortion is seemingly now celebrated and encouraged. Even if you resorted to having an abortion, for one reason or another, you certainly should not be proud of it. It should really be just your shameful little secret. Just because we have the right to make a decision doesn't mean we should be proud of the one that we pick. Because while you may have had the right to make said decision, it doesn't mean it's not the wrong decision. Some decisions are shameful. I mean, we've gotten to a point where we've got Michelle Williams thanking her abortions for her Golden Globe win.
I wouldn't have been able to do this without employing a woman's right to choose.
Unless your life was in danger because of the pregnancy, really you did just make the selfish choice to end another life just because it wasn't convenient for you at the time for one reason or another. That is shameful. It's also always been weird to me how the left paints anyone who is anti-abortion as immoral and against women's rights. Like, you're the ones who are pro-ending a life right at the beginning, and people who don't support that are the immoral ones? I think y'all have just been brainwashed and have taken a political stance on the subject based just on what others are telling you is the correct stance, rather than thinking about it logically. Because the ones who are pro-life are encouraging life, while you're encouraging death. Make it make sense. I can't, because it doesn't. One thing I've always found odd also is the argument, women have a right to choose when they want to be mothers. Yeah, well, birth control is covered by all insurances, including Medicaid, which is free. You can also walk into any Planned Parenthood and they'll give you condoms and contraceptives for free. There's no excuse that you can't avoid pregnancy. Someone once tried to rebuttal me on that, saying, well, poor people can't always afford cars or afford rides to places where they can get free birth control. To which I replied, oh, but suddenly they do have a ride when they want to go get the abortion. And furthermore, suddenly they have the money for said abortion. Excuses, and a lack of personal responsibility. I have yet to hear a single legitimate argument for why, if they don't want the baby, they can't just have it and put it up for adoption. Yes, I'm sure being pregnant is unpleasant, but is it so unpleasant that you should be allowed to kill someone? In my opinion, no. But actually, despite that initial rant, we're not actually going to talk just about abortion per se today, but also the way the word is being used to erase miscarriages and blend them together with abortions, in order to make abortions seem less abhorrent than they really are. To talk a little more about this, I'd like to introduce you to my best friend and our resident hag, Miss Claudia-Lynn. Why, thank you, Guy. A noble title indeed. First, I'd like to say I'm glad you're talking about this topic, because a lot of men are told they aren't even entitled to an opinion about it because of their lack of ability to have an abortion. Personally, I think men have a right to an opinion about it. For example, Guy, why don't you tell them what you told me about your backstory? Oh yeah. Thank you, Claudia-Lynn. Well, my mother, who is no longer with us, because I no longer speak to her, got pregnant with me at age 17. She was planning on getting an abortion, but her dad found out and forbade her. Thanks, Grandpa. So, as I was almost aborted, I think I definitely have a right to an opinion on this. As personally, I'm glad that my remains are not rotting in a landfill somewhere, as they came so close to being. That really paints quite the picture, Guy. Thank you for that. Also, I have to agree with you on the attempt to normalize and celebrate abortions, and I will explore the topic of miscarriages being blended with abortions to your followers. Not many people know that this is even happening, but I'm talking from personal experience. You see, stupid liberals like to make the argument now that since DNC is used for both miscarriages and abortions, as well as pills, that this means they are the same thing because the same method is used. That's like saying cremating a corpse is the same as throwing a living person into an incinerator. One is killing a living thing, while the other is a method of disposing of something that is already dead. When I say I'm talking from personal experience, I don't mean I've been going around throwing anyone into an incinerator or cremating corpses. What I mean is, unfortunately, I myself, while trying to conceive a child, recently had multiple miscarriages, and I was shocked and appalled to see on my medical chart that my miscarriages were being called spontaneous abortions, rather than a miscarriage, which is what it was. I was like, excuse me, Mr. Doctor, I do not want the word abortion on my chart. I did not abort anything. I wanted this child. This was a miscarriage. Please change my chart to miscarriage. And they wouldn't do it. They said they wouldn't or they couldn't. I don't even remember what they said. But the answer was no. Oh, but I'm sure if I wanted to be called he, him, they, them, or ZZ or whatever the fuck, they would have gladly changed that on my chart. Basically, they would sooner write he had an abortion before they would write she had a miscarriage. Let that sink in. Basically, they are doing this to try to normalize and ease the guilty consciences of people who murdered their baby by equating it as the same thing as a woman who tragically lost hers. Like, no, I am devastated and you probably went out to celebrate with sushi afterwards. We're not the same, we're not the same. Thank you, Claudia-Lynn, for these great perspectives and for sharing your story. Oh, fuck off, Guy, it's fine. I'm happy to do it. While normally I find your middle-of-the-road, not picking a side ramblings a little droll, I'm glad others are listening. I mean, I barely can, and as your hag, I'm basically who you would be with if you weren't gay. Thanks, I think. But anyway, a point I'll end on in our first but likely not our last discussion on abortion on this channel is not people, liberals like to say it's just a clump of cells at that point. That's nonsense. The minute we hear someone's pregnant, we say things like, congrats on the baby.
Yeah, we're gonna have a baby.
You're gonna in there? Oh my god, I can't believe it!
We don't say, congrats on your clump of cells. Because we all know from the moment they tell us that they're pregnant that there is a baby in there. It is not different because it is wanted versus unwanted. Holla! I'll end on that today. Thanks for staying with us through all that. Claudia-Lynn, do you have anything else to add? I'm good. Okay, then for now I'll say ta-ta. So much love, guys. Bye. Please click the subscribe button and click the little bell to be notified when I post more videos. I've got many more to come. Also, please find me on social media at GayModerate on TikTok, Insta, X, and Facebook. I post on there a whole lot more than I post on here, so check it out.